Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I call this meeting at Independent School District 544 to order. Clerk, will you establish a quorum for us, please?
Yes, Matthew Lemke.
Here.
Jeff Foreman.
Here.
Blake Danielson.
Here.
Daryl Tungstep.
Here.
Melanie Cole. Here. Tarma Carlson here. We have a quorum.
Thank you. We need to approve the agenda. There was no modifications of what was sent out to us. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda passes. Moving on to acknowledgements, we want to say thank you to the following. Donna Ketterling for her donation of 23 National Geographic Science books to Cleveland School. Jackie Bunkowski for her third and final yearly payment of $500 on her $1,500 pledge towards our Modern Manufacturing Learning Lab at Roosevelt Education Center. Dean Gutzmer for her $185 donation of classroom supplies for Miss Rehnquist's classroom at Cleveland Elementary. And Pickett and Dameth Accounting for their donation of 2 used computers with dual monitors to the Kennedy Secondary School PC maintenance and networking class. So thank you for those. Moving on to reports. We have Laura Strum here for 4th grade orchestra performance at the Minnesota Music Educators Association Midwinter Clinic in February.
That's a mouthful, isn't it?
Welcome.
Craig, are you presenting as well?
Oh, no, I'm
Okay.
just,
He's
Okay.
got moral support.
All right, okay.
Rah, rah.
We didn't want to leave you out here.
Yeah.
So thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm Lori Strum, and I teach orchestra half-time here in Fergus Falls. And my colleague, Craig Peterson, teaches orchestra full-time. I've taught orchestra in Fergus Falls on several different occasions. I began my teaching career here in the fall of 1979 and to 1983, and then got married and we moved away. And I was a full-time employee at that time. And then I was rehired again in 1987 to 89. And then we moved away again. And then we moved back to Fergus in 91. And I was rehired again in 1998 as a half-time orchestra person. And it's a total of 24 years here in Fergus Falls. So that's who I am, in case you were wondering. Some people don't know that I actually teach here in Fergus Falls, but I do. So I'm speaking to you today to present our performance invitation. In May of 2016, Craig and I sent in a recorded audition of our 4th grade orchestra to the Minnesota Music Educators Association, and we abbreviated by saying MMEA. So that's how I'll refer to it. To be considered for performance in February of 2017 at their Midwinter Clinic. MMEA is the premier professional association for music educators in Minnesota, and this organization serves approximately 1,750 educators through programs, clinics, advocacy, leadership, and it hosts a state convention every year in Minneapolis. And this is my first time in my career in Fergus Falls that we have auditioned an elementary group, and I'm excited to share with you that we were selected by blind audition. And you know what, this can be compared to an athletic team going to a state tournament. So on February 17th, 2017, our 4th grade orchestra will take a day trip, leaving at the beginning of the school day for downtown Minneapolis and perform at about 1:15 for music educators throughout the state of Minnesota. And we'll return to Fergus Falls following our performance with supper en route. We're hoping there won't be a financial cost to the 4th grade students for this performance. However, there are costs involved, which include transportation, concert attire, and professionally printed programs. There's a possibility that parents will be invited to this performance as well. And many school districts who perform for this conference have their school board members and administration in attendance as well. And Mrs. Runn, hello, stated she would like to travel with us. And our hope is that our Fergus Falls district-wide music staff would be able to attend as well. The benefits of this performance are widespread and include our orchestra students, the school district, and the community of Fergus Falls. First of all, the fourth grade orchestra members' involvement in this performance. It'll build their confidence, their sense of well-being, and sense of pride. And secondly, there's rare opportunities, positive advertising for the Fergus Falls schools. Music educators throughout the state will have the opportunity to attend this concert and witness the quality of our program. And this performance can be an inspiration for other music programs and districts in Minnesota. The music educators in Minnesota will also see that our school values music education, especially orchestra. Lastly, this impacts the community of Fergus Falls. The publicity for Fergus Falls is incalculable. For a rural community to have a thriving fourth grade orchestra program of this caliber is unprecedented. It speaks highly of the community's support of our program and the arts, and in essence, this performance puts Fergus Falls on the map. In conclusion, the opportunity for our musical performance group to be seen and heard at the state level is rare, especially for an elementary aged group. Do you have any questions? Any comments?
Are you excited?
You know what? When I found out, I was so excited, and then I kind of felt like throwing up. Because we think of all these little fourth graders and all their little bodies and their excitement. It's a little bit overwhelming, but it's very exciting.
Where is the location of the convention?
It's the convention center, although
Okay.
they've said for us, our performance will be at the sanctuary. I know they've used Central Lutheran Church as a performance venue as well, and I'll get more information as time goes on.
So with the fourth graders, you submitted this, you said last May.
Yeah.
So are those fourth grade students actually gone up to fifth grade now? So it'll be a new group that'll
It's a
be.
new group that
it'll
we
be
just started
representing-
3
okay.
weeks ago. It's very scary.
So how do the fourth graders that were on that group, are they excited for the group that gets to go even?
I don't think they know.
Oh.
It's our little secret. They do know.
You know, they said there was like numerous schools that, you know, applied in that. How many do they actually accept, and what's the range? Do you know what the range?
Do you know,
Because you
Craig?
said high school too, so.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Elementary to high school
You know, I would
too,
say
you know.
most of the groups are high school aged.
Okay.
And collegiate.
And collegiate. And I think there might be some community-based honors groups as well.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of bands, I would say. Mhm.
And was it like close to 140 students? Is that what I saw originally?
Oh, in our orchestra? This year, right now, this very moment, there's 115 fourth grade orchestra kids, and that's the biggest
Well,
it
that's-
has
You guys should be
ever
commended
been.
for that, because
It's,
that's a large number.
You should come on Thursday morning at 8 o'clock in the morning to the Cleveland Gym and witness what these kids, it's kind of amazing. The first time we were all together and we actually played something together, Craig and I just kind of went, wow. So it's, oh, I just got goosebumps. So it's
Do you
just
know
very
what you're going to
exciting.
be playing?
Sort of. Yep, it's constantly in my mind.
Okay.
Yeah, well, we have a concert here in Fergus Falls the week before that we had on the calendar anyway.
Mhm.
So what we played that concert will be what we play on the 17th.
Congratulations.
I don't mean to be indelicate, but where will the funds come from then for the?
Okay, we have a booster group, Friends of the Orchestra, and we do have some monies. I did apply for a 544 grant,
Okay.
and elementary PTO has some monies, and I've applied for monies there as well. And, you know, our wish is that the school district would offer a little bit of money as well. But we'll go down that road,
Good.
and we'll see what happens.
Okay.
But I'm confident we will have the funds.
All right.
Good.
Very
You just
good.
work with Principal Rund, if anything is needed there. Good.
Yes, sounds good. Any other questions? Thank you.
Nope,
Thank you.
congrats.
Congratulations too.
Thank you so much. It is very exciting.
Moving on to other reports, we have Trauma Carlson with Lakes Country Service Co-op Board and Wellness.
The Lakes Country Service Co-op Board did not meet in September. We meet on Thursday. And the Wellness Committee met, and it was kind of a review of what we've been doing, kind of getting the new nurse up to speed with what's been going on with the Wellness Committee. And one of the things that was changed last spring was that we're only going to meet 4 times. Is it 4, I think?
Yep.
Instead of meeting monthly, so I won't have as many reports. So it wasn't a whole lot that happened there other than just going over what we've been doing, so.
Any questions for Tarma? Thank you, Tarma. Melanie Cole, Special Ed Corps, Region 1, and negotiations.
All right, well, I'm not even gonna try and match Ms. Strong's enthusiasm because she wasn't there. So, all right, Special Education Cooperative Board met today, and at the beginning of each of our meetings, we have what's called a director's report, and we learn what the director's been working on and/or get a highlight of one of the programs or facets of the Special Education Cooperative. Today, Sue Lewis came in and talked about Infinitec, which is an online training program that's available to paraprofessionals and professionals. It can meet some of their required credits for continuing education. So it's a pretty cool resource, and it's a subscription-based opportunity, so we review it and every once in a while see what offerings they have, and but I think it's a resource that we utilize well. And then the rest of the meeting, it was the general board meeting, so we had all 9 superintendents there and representatives from the member districts, and reviewed the activities of the executive board from the last 3 months and approved, reapproved some of the things we'd already covered. And then we did an updated fiscal year 17 cooperative budget. The financing has come through stronger. There was something we didn't anticipate from the very complicated process of special ed funding. And it improved the budget to the point where we modified the budget today. And then in terms of negotiations, this is where I can get some enthusiasm going on this. On the agenda tonight is the last of the contracts to approve, and we will have resolved all of our contracts for the last 2 years. That should give us about 6 months of time before we'll begin the negotiations process again. So we have those items to approve later. And then last of all, Region 1 Joint Powers Board, very little to update on the usual functions of that board, other than there too, we had an influx of money that was more than anticipated, and we revised the budget. So that, and the purpose of revising the budget midway through the year is just to take into account and adjust so that you don't have this big gap and you're trying to explain it later at the end of the year, but just to keep it on track. So we do that through official action. And that's all that I had.
Any questions for Melanie? Thank you, Melanie. Blaine Danielson, Policy and Curriculum Review.
Neither one of those have met, so nothing to report. I would just like to say, though, curriculum meeting will be meeting, or group will be meeting next Monday for our first meeting of this school year. And so the public, if there's anyone out there that is interested in being on the curriculum committee, get a hold of the school office and get the information needed. So.
Do you know how many positions there's still?
1 or 2, and it's at 5:30 next Monday night, right in this room.
Thank you, Blaine. Jeff Horman, Staff Development, Buildings and Grounds.
Staff Development Committee met last Monday. Pretty much business as usual, just several requests for training that were submitted to the group for approval. Just reminding everyone that in the past, our budget was $15,000. We're now at $25,000. I've been on this committee my entire time on the board, and we're definitely seeing more and more of our staff taking advantage of these dollars, so we're getting more requests. Brings up sometimes some different anomalies, such as people go to training in the summer and then submit for reimbursement afterwards, because of course the group isn't there to approve it in the summer. So working out some of the details on how we get through some of that, so we are able to fund these requests by staff. But otherwise, it was pretty much pretty typical requests, quite a few requests for this meeting. But that was pretty much it for that group. And then Buildings and Grounds, I don't have anything new on that.
Any questions for Jeff? Thank you, Jeff. Minnesota High School League, they met October 6th, and they are going to be reapplying for that sales tax exemption. As we remember, that because of the state legislators not being able to come to an agreement. That was one of the bills that would have been passed that didn't get passed, so they're going to go back after it again this year when they reconvene. The other thing a couple other things they're doing is the constitutional amendment. They're going to be asking, and we will be one of them, asking schools that are mail-in ballot if two superintendents should be representative on the board. Right now, there are no superintendents that are represented on that board, and so they are trying to change some bylaws so that they can actually have superintendents on their board. And let's see here. And the other big discussion that actually made the Star Tribune, so, I always like their synopsis is a little bit less than what they tell you in that paper, but anyway, is the discussion about the consolation round in basketball. A lot of school districts like Ely had suggested that when you're outstate Minnesota, you go down for boys and girls basketball and you're only guaranteed one game, and if you lose, you're done. That a lot of times parents and fans will say, well, if you make it, if you win, then it'll come down, but if you don't, So they're just talking about, and it was adopted last year, so they're just hopefully going to get a plan put together from the Minnesota High School League to see that through. So they've been working on that, so we'll see. That's supposed to be, they're actually supposed to have a plan in December, so we'll see what comes out of that. The Fergus Falls Education Association, they met in September. As of September 8th, there's 356 new members. And so their goal started in September 1st of 2013. So that leaves them with 150, their goal is 500 in 5 years. So that leaves them with 150, their goal is to get another 150 new members within the last 2 years. So they're well on their way. It was also during the annual meeting too that they approved 2 new board members, and that will be Terry Harrington and Mike Ringo will be joining the 544 Education Foundation Board. And so they talked about that, and the rest of it was just normal business. So, any questions? Thank you. Darrell Tungseth, meet, confer, and legislative liaison.
Okay, meet and confer hasn't met. We're certainly willing to meet at any time. Legislative area, there was talk of special session, but that fell through, and now we're so close to the election and close to the regular session, so sure there won't be any special session. I know MREA and MSBA have been meeting, having their regional meetings to formulate proposals for the regular legislature when that meets in January. And I don't know if you have anything more on that.
I've heard through the grapevine possibly November special session, and there's also another topic about health insurance that a legislature wants to call back everybody for that. So they're thinking something might be in the works, but not sure yet. No one's making up their mind. No, I don't.
Any questions for Darrell? Thank you, Darrell. Superintendent Ness.
Yes, just touching on planning for the future here. We have an admin meeting every day that we have a school board meeting in the morning at 9 o'clock in this room. We have an admin meeting, and we talked a lot about the process of planning for the future that I'll share more with later. But really, starting tomorrow, I'm going to meet with the Cleveland staff. We know the Cleveland building is very tight, and we've made some adjustments already. We've hired a paraprofessional to be at the Prairie and then back at Cleveland and back to the Prairie. On the agenda tonight is 2 special education paras. But we're going to meet with staff and see what other needs, because they do have some high class sizes, to make it through this year. Then the next year, on November 4th, we have the staff workday. So the November 3rd is a Thursday. That's the end of the quarter. The next day is we're going to have a staff meeting here and just talk about big picture. Where's the best place for all of our students? Because if we bring one more large class into 3rd grade next year, we really don't, all of our grade levels don't fit. So do you split grade levels, or do you move some to a different building? What do we do? And we just want staff input so we can really make the best plan. Following that meeting, we're going to have a smaller meeting where a representative from every PLC, professional learning community, will come to, we're going to set it up over at the service cooperative and really have a plan, sit down together, school board is invited certainly, and the PLC members, administrators, just really, let's talk about our buildings, what's available, all these different things. At some point, when we get closer, we'll bring this to the community, and the goal would be is in February, we make a recommendation will be made to the school board on what's the best plan, and then we'll look for approval, and we're targeting February, so then we have from March through August to implement a plan. So that's what we've been working on. It's all consuming.
Any questions for Superintendent Ness? Thank you. Moving on to general consent items, we have the minutes for the September 26, 2016 school board meeting. Bills and treasury report, Blaine Danielson.
Yes, Melanie and I met with Mark before the meeting today, and nothing out of the ordinary. We had 1.4 million in bills, and we're sitting good on cash, so recommend we pay the bills.
Thank you, Blaine. Personnel, Superintendent Ness.
Yes, we have a number of items. We have certified staff retirement. Mary Link is a kindergarten teacher. She will be retiring as effective December 1. Following this, the process then is to replace, so once her retirement is approved, as soon as tomorrow, we could post the opening, interview, hire that person, and then juggling can happen from there. So that will be happening shortly here. Support staff hires, we have Brittany Keenan, cafeteria, Jennifer Fody from the secretary, Diana Weidrich, Tammy Bauer will be special ed paras at Cleveland, Stacy Swantek is going to be a special ed para at Adams. We have 2 resignations, Julie Swenson as secretary and April King as special education paraprofessional. And I'll go back to you.
Okay. We need to approve the 2016, 2018, through the 2018 agreement between the Fergus Falls School Board of ISD 544 and the Title I paraprofessionals. Item number 5 is the 2016 through 2018 agreement between the School Board of ISD 544 and the Fergus Falls Cafeteria Association. Item number 6 is the 2015 through 2017 agreement between the School Board of ISD 544 and the Fergus Falls Principal Association. And then item number 7 is a cafeteria position, lunch computer operator, grab and go, breakfast and snack and go, number 710. This is a grade level change from a 3 to a 4 effective 9/1/16 due to accounting responsibilities.
So a level, a pay scale level is from 3 to 4. More responsibility, specifically dealing with dollars, would be an increase in pay, and she is doing that. So.
Do we have a motion to approve the general consent items?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? General consent items pass. There is no old business. Moving on to new business. We have the 2016-2017 assurance of compliance with the state and federal law prohibiting discrimination. Do we have a motion for this?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
In annual motion and approval so that we are complying with Minnesota statutes, and this is an annual report to the Commissioner of Education stating their district will be in compliance with state and federal law. So it's an annual thing.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 2 is a resolution on the retirement of Mary Link. Whereas Mary Link began her employment with the Fergus Falls Public Schools in June 1986. And whereas Mary has been a valued employee with the Fergus Falls Public Schools for the past 30.5 years. And whereas Mary has done an excellent job as an elementary teacher in our district. And now therefore be it resolved by the Fergus Falls School Board to thank Mary Link for her 30.5 years of dedicated service to the Fergus Falls Public Schools. Would somebody offer that resolution, move for its adoption?
I'll offer the resolution and move for its adoption.
Second.
Second, Dharma, thank you. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Tarma Carlson, yes. Jeff Harmon.
Yes.
Wayne Danielson.
Yes.
Gerald Tunstead.
Yes.
Rosie Cole.
Yes.
Matthew Lemke.
Yes.
The resolution passes.
Thank you. Item number 3, we have a trip request, the U.S. Holocaust Memorial Museum in Washington DC trip on April 4th through April 5th of 2017 for the ALC students, as presented by Kristen Toole on our last report. Do we have a motion to approve that?
I'll move to approve it.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
If you recall, it's basically a one-day trip. They will be staying overnight, but it's a very early morning, full day with the Holocaust Museum, and then coming back very quickly. And there is no cost to the school district that is being funded. So it's basically approving the day out of school.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 4 is a trip request for the 4th grade orchestra performance at the Minnesota Music Educators Association Midwinter Clinic in February of 2017.
I move we approve.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
And the reason it's on the board, usually we hear the presentation and then approve it the next time. She has to let them know if they are accepting, otherwise they would have to find another group to perform, so it is time sensitive, so thank you.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 5, we have an additional paraeducator position. Based on student needs, it's a paid grade level 4. Do we have a motion to approve this?
So moved.
We'll go with Blaine. We'll go second with Jeff. Any discussion? Again, this is to assist the Prairie Wetlands Learning Center. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 6, we have the Minnesota High School League application for dissolution of a cooperative sponsorship of Lakes Area Girls and Boys Alpine Ski Team beginning with the 2016-2017 school year. This is because Herman Norcross will not be participating in the co-op. Do we have a motion to approve this?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Right, like as you said, Herman Norcross is not, so the process is you dissolve the previous agreement, and then the next motion coming up right away is a new agreement with the schools that are participating. So 2 motions to handle this new agreement.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 7 is the Minnesota High School League application for cooperative sponsorship of Lakes Area Girls and Boys Alpine Ski Team beginning with the 2016-2017 school year. Do we have a motion to approve this?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We'll take Tarma. Any discussion?
How many schools are involved in that, do you know?
You have to ask that.
No, it is,
no.
it's- we have it.
Oh, you
in
do
the-
have it?
In the board packet.
Okay.
I don't have a
I'll
board
edit
packet.
I will dig it out. I will find that out.
Actually,
Oh,
I
there you
have
go.
it in my, I have it in my supporting stuff here.
Okay, so you have Alexandria, Chicago, Alberta, Fergus Falls, Herman Norcross, West Central area, Wheaton. So now Herman will be out of that one, and then that was for boys. And then girls is Alec, Fergus, West Central area, and Wheaton. Yep, so Chicago, Alberta is not in the girls, but it is in the boy.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 8 is our first reading of the FY16 Fergus Falls Public Schools financial audit. Mark, are you going to go over that? Is that?
Sure, I'll go through it here.
Thank you. Yeah, so this is our first reading.
Everybody got a copy of the audit? It may still be warm because it was printing just as we were preparing here. We just got it from the auditors. We've had a draft here for a little bit, but the final is now in your hands. Printed copy will be coming, an officially printed copy will be coming here shortly. So, back in January 2008, the school board passed a statutory operating debt recovery plan. It was a document that was required because when you're in SOD, you have to do certain things to get yourself out of SOD, to get yourself out of bankruptcy. You had satisfied all but one of those items. There were 9 items that had to be done, 9 goals. And all but one of those goals had been achieved. And tonight I'm going to tell you that your 4th one and final one is finally achieved, and the SOD plan is now completely done. Number 4's goal was to create an unreserved fund balance of 8% within 7 years after exiting SOD. And so as of June 30th, 2016 was your deadline, and you made it. Your fund balance is going to be at 2.7 million, which is a 12% fund balance versus the 8%. It's good news, but at the same time, I want to let you know that 21% is what the state average is. So we're happy to be at 12, but understand that we're not at average yet either, and nor do I know if that's the board's goal. School district has, of course, now that we've gotten to this point, the tendency is for people to start spending money again. But just keep in mind that we have new challenges. We're a growing school district. Our enrollment is up in the elementaries, and tonight you hired a para. There's other things coming down the pipe that you'll need to tap into it. So just, but I don't want to throw too much cold water on the good news. The audit here, if you look at it on page 3, there's a little paragraph right up at the top. And it says, in our opinion, the financial statements referred to above present fairly in all material respects the respective financial position of the governmental entity, blah, blah, blah. That's what you pay the audit for, just to get that paragraph. And it's basically telling you that everything looks good. Okay? The rest of the document is a lot of numbers shown in a variety of ways. Probably the first half of the audit report is more for the bonding companies and the State Department and things like that, whereas the last half of it is, or I should say in the middle is about where we want to look at, and then towards the end it gets more towards federal people and documents that they need to see and put into their file cabinet to make sure everything's fine. But if you look on page 10, and this is for those who love to do analyticals, you'll see where Fergus Falls ranks amongst all the other school districts in the state. There are 490 school districts and charter schools in Minnesota. And as you go through, we are the 75th highest in enrollment. But when it comes to funding, we are near the bottom. We're at 448, 460 in state funding. And likewise, our expenditures match that, because you have to match your revenue and your expenditures in order to survive. But just to let you know, we do a lot here on our funding, and our funding is the way it is. I think if you look at other regional school districts around the state, you'll find kind of the same thing. The Alexandrias, not so much Detroit Lakes, but other districts of about our size that are regional, you'll find us near the bottom, whereas everybody else gets to be up higher than us. BL would be higher because of their diversity that they have up there and their economic conditions. The other page I want you to look at is on page 15. And on the bottom there is, it shows the fund balances. You can see the 2.7. Under restricted, there's about $600,000 up there that's restricted that belongs in the capital outlay fund. That fund was also in deficit 9 years ago. And so we've done a lot of work to get our fund balances up to where they need to be. You also notice in our debt service fund that there's $14 million there, but $14 million is borrowed in anticipation of paying off a future debt. It's a refinancing. You borrow money to pay off another debt here later on, and in the process save some money. That fund is actually only has $39,000 in it. So, then on the back page, they have one finding. And during the finding, it says that they had to make a material adjustment to the books. That was a journal entry that I goofed up. And then I told them to please look and find it, and they found it. And then they turned around and wrote me up for it. So that's fine. But in any case, that's our audit tonight, and I guess having a surplus is better than having the deficit days. And so, like I say, we're happy. But don't start dancing and spending.
There's no action on this, and so since it says 63 pages to read, we'll have action next one. So if we have any further questions, we'll ask. You can ask Mark at that time. Everybody's fine with that?
Yeah, just note too, in the review that page 1 has a outdated listing of employee responsibilities.
Oh, yeah.
So, but
Just change a little bit, but-
Yep.
that's probably the only mistake I'll be able to figure out in here.
Any other questions? Or the good news.
Good.
Very
Yeah.
good news. So our next regular school board meeting will be Monday, October 24th, right here at the Otter Community Room at Kennedy Secondary School at 5 p.m. Following this meeting, we will go into our work session to talk about the Buildings and Grounds report. With that, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Oh,
We'll go to Jeff second. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Bye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.